in conversation with our disruptor for this week, Zukie Siyotula, who's the founder and managing director of Siyotula Holdings. Did I say that correctly? Siyotula
Yes,
Holdings.
did.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Such a pleasure to speak to you. You have a phenomenal landscape as well as background, given your corporate experience in South Africa in such a short space of time. And I want us to reflect on that at the age of 29, you were appointed as the CEO of Thebe Capital, young, black, capable female. You've certainly set the bar quite high and been disruptive in the corporate space.
I've had quite an amazing journey in corporate, and I think that I can attribute that to having trained and worked at some of the best corporates like SAB and Barclays Africa. And I think that really teed me up for that opportunity to become, appointed at the age of 29 to be the CEO of Thebe Capital. And I really enjoyed doing that role, had wonderful exposure and great impacts within the financial services sector, and had the opportunity to really serve on many boards and work with some of the most interesting captains of industry.
How easy has it been, though? Because as alluded to, it's an industry which is often dominated by older males, so not many females as well being represented on a variety of boards or at an executive level. Has it been easy? Does the glass ceiling basically still exist?
You know, the glass ceiling certainly does still exist. If you look at the numbers, of female executives in financial services, they're quite limited. And also, if you look at women on boards, they're also, very much limited. If you look at the JSE, I think there's less than 5 female CEOs, and this is looking across all sectors. So it certainly has not been an easy journey, and I think that mentorship and sponsorship has played a massive role in my career. And that's why I'm very passionate about mentoring and giving back, and sharing my experiences and making sure that other women don't make the same mistakes that I did.
What were some of the mistakes you made?
I think, earlier on in my career, because I always, by default, was the youngest, or the only black, or the only female, all of the isms would then follow me. And I think I became very hard initially at the beginning of my career, being under 25, managing a large division, having 50-year-olds reporting into me. When I started out, I think I became very hard, and I was trying to find my feet. But I quickly settled into my own skin, and having a great knowing of who you are and your purpose, and not being caught up in the title and the position, but focusing on the work that you're there to do and making a difference. And that really helped me, and I found that people find that easy to follow and are very much inspired by that and are willing to work with you. And over time, your reputation speaks for itself. And I don't have to, announce myself now when I enter a room. People come to me for, specific expertise, and they've worked with me, or I come recommended by other people. And that has certainly made it easier over time, yeah.
Goodness. Well, phenomenal lessons that were certainly learned, but you took it a step even further. As a qualified chartered accountant, the corporate landscape is just looking for talent like yours, but you've decided to go the entrepreneurial route.
Yeah. I love business. I'm very passionate about business, and I love working with people. And at this point in time, I just had an amazing opportunity to do something that's entrepreneurial. So I decided to take some time off from corporate, and I've been doing advisory work and sitting on boards, and it's been very interesting, and I interact a lot with business still. A lot of the work that I do, I'm still interacting largely with the banks and other corporates, so I'm still very much present, and I'm not going to shut the door on corporate. I think the business landscape is very much interesting. We have a huge shortage of talent, and there are many opportunities to make a difference in corporate or as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. You mentioned something so critical there, Zukie, shortage of talent, because we know that in South Africa there's no shortage of individuals, especially the strong youth population that we have. However, we almost seem to be facing several threats on different fronts, whether it be the fourth industrial revolution, which you're quite vocal on as a young global leader at the World Economic Forum. It's the macroeconomic environment, which isn't creating a lot of jobs, and of course industries and sectors which propel innovation. How do we disrupt in those sectors with regard to our mindset and our approach to making sure that there's a sustainable skills base to contribute to the economy going forward?
I mean, it's a huge conversation that we're having at the World Economic Forum on a continuous basis, really discussing the fourth industrial revolution and its impact. I think a lot of people see it as a threat, but it's also an opportunity for us to look at. In Africa, we're a very young continent in terms of the population. I think we are about 60% youth, somewhere there. So it's an opportunity for us to really relook at our education system and how do we redefine that so that we get, we make sure that young people are job ready when they come out of the system, because our education system is still largely traditional in terms of get a matric, do 4 years in university, and still come into the workspace not being job ready. So I like a lot of the innovation that's coming up in the education space. People are looking at universities differently. They're looking at online learning differently, and I think that will start to get people ready. Access to technology is vital as we move forward. A lot of the disruption that's coming is very technology based and very digital. So it's important that young people learn how to code at a very young age, for example, so that we become relevant, moving forward. I've just come back from China and really looking at artificial intelligence and what it's doing. It is literally changing how production works. In India, they now have 100% dark factories. They're now having robotics manufacture components.
Sure.
So the world of work and how we see employment is going to change drastically, and it's important that we start gearing up across different sectors towards that.
The definition of disruption, what does it mean to you and where does it start?
For me, it's exciting. It's about innovation. It forces you as an individual to look at yourself and say, how do I keep up with the trends? How do I ensure that not just my qualifications, but my skills and expertise are relevant, and that I am continuously looking at the future and how to play in that space. So I spend a lot of time at the moment really understanding AI, understanding blockchain, understanding what the fourth industrial revolution means, what it means for the traditional sectors. I think banking is going to change fundamentally moving forward. I think mobile payments are going to revolutionize how we see access to banking to the unbanked across the continent, and we have to start thinking about that and how we do business differently.
Does that mean that you'll continue to disrupt at your advisory firm regarding strategy going forward and how that might change the landscape going forward?
Absolutely. I don't see myself being stagnant in the future in any shape or form. I've always been innovative in my thinking, and I love creating solutions and working with other businesses. So I will continue to be relevant in the advisory space.
Fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to all those developments, and thank you so much for your time. Clearly continue disrupting the landscape that you operate in. Zukie Siyotula, the founder of Siyotula Holdings.